How do you defy the impossible in your personal and professional life? What do you do when life has broken your heart? Or you feel betrayed or let down by the people you love the most? How do you get back up off the mat? How do you keep going when everything around you is screaming you can't? I know exactly how you feel. See, when I was 16 years old, I used to live on the streets, literally on the streets of Baltimore, Maryland. And I remember sitting on a street corner. Um, it was really strong visual, but in the smell of urine and beer was like so strong, like wrapping itself around me, you know? And I remember thinking to myself, there's got to be more to life than this. But I didn't know how to get out of the situation, and I didn't know what to do. All I knew was that there's had to be something more. The person who made the biggest difference in my life was my ninth grade math teacher. Her name is Miss Francis. I call her Nana. One day I came to school smelling unkept, and she helped me get myself cleaned up. The other teachers ignored me, and the students laughed and bullied and, do what high school students do. But she helped me get myself cleaned up. She gave me a warm meal, and she dropped me off at the street corner, so I didn't have to explain myself. And that was the beginning of our trust relationship. Well, once I figured out I could have a good meal, I started hanging out at school. And for a 6-month period, I didn't talk at all because it hurt too much. So one day she came to the back of the classroom and she shoved a pen and a pad in my hands and she said, look, if you're not going to talk, then write. And so I started to write, and my words came out and my thoughts came out as poetry. She read it, typed it, and sent it off to the NAACP AXO competition, and I won. Now, could you imagine what it was like for me to have a stranger, not a family member, not a neighbor, just a teacher, take the time, give me the tools, and follow through on my behalf with something I could never, ever have asked for? It reminds me of that story of Helen Keller with her teacher. Like her teacher was wearing water on her hand, and she didn't know it was water because she didn't have language. But the moment she could connect the word water with the invisible force flowing over her hand, she became a sentient being. She got pulled out of the darkness of the muteness. Well, when I realized what Miss Francis had done for me, in that moment, I became a social being. I realized that I mattered, like atoms, like material consequence, that I had worth, that I had intrinsic value because I didn't earn it or I didn't have to pay for it with my body in any way. So the moment I realized I had worth, the next thought was, maybe I could do something with my life. And that thought gave me the room to start making requests, asking questions, looking around for opportunities, being open to receive love, being open to receive support, being open to receiving help. And in the end, 14 years later, I graduated from Stanford University with a second master's degree and a PhD. I've presented a show, closed a show off Broadway. I've presented at the Sorbonne. I've been featured in Glamour magazine, ABC News, NBC News, Diversity Inc. I've traveled to Paris, to Rome, to Umbria, to Senegal. And I say all that to say this to you, that all it takes is a crack in the wall of evidence that you have against yourself to defy the impossible. So what I would offer you from my own experience and from my journey into my own worth is to ask yourself the question, who am I for myself? And look to see what relationship you have with you. And if you discover that it's not a powerful one, then I encourage you to nurture and cultivate the relationship you have with yourself, how you see yourself, and break through those inner glass ceilings. And by doing so, you will live a life that defies the impossible. I promise. I'm living proof. This is Dr. Venus Opal Reese, and I can be reached at defyimpossible.com. And then I also have a free gift for you there if you come. Okay? I would love to know you. Thank you for listening to my words. Ashe.